Ciao everyone and welcome back to another episode of Learn Italian with Songs. Specifically today we are going to talk about another summer hit 2025 and I'm talking about Pronto come va by the Kolors. So, despite the fact that the title is written in caps lock without any question mark or punctuation of any sort, technically the title should be written as Pronto? Question mark. Come va? Question mark. Which would translate in English as hello, how are you doing? How's it going? How are you? Literally is like how is going, because come, how, va is going, the life, the things, whatever. And it is a classic summer hit, so the theme is not that deep. And guess what is the focus? Yes, struggling in relationships, because of course we cannot say summer hit without saying breakups, arguments, unhealthy relationships, because apparently in Italy we struggle with relationships mainly in summer, because these two things all together. However, despite being pretty much that the idea of the song, it is more ironic, and in fact we are going to see that in the lyrics are hidden a lot of Easter eggs, so references to other songs or Italian memes and things that Italian, or at least a portion of Italians would understand. So there is not much to say in the introduction because it is a very light song. So let's start with the lyrics. Saluti da zia Mara. Greetings from Aunt Mara. Mi chiede come stai. She asks me how you are doing. Ti ho dato tutto, ma I gave you everything, but ma tu vuoi il cuore. But you want the heart. Ouch. Lasciami almeno metà. Leave me at least half implied of it. Non guardarti indietro. Don't look back. Sei Raffaella Carrà. You are Raffaella Carrà. Che mi canta Pedro, 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 Pedro. Who sings to me Pedro, 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 Pedro. So you can see already we are being frizzantini. So, saluti da zia Mara. Why? Because the whole song is built as if our protagonist, our singer, is calling someone or answering the phone or leaving a message on the phone, because the theme is in fact the calling, as we can notice from the title, hello, how's it going, which is usually what you say when someone is calling you or when you call someone. So the idea is that we have our protagonist calling, and we often say saluti da, greetings from, or like X person greets you, so mamma ti saluta, mamma says hi, okay? And then we have mentioned zia Mara. And you might think, well, okay, who is zia Mara? Who is Aunt Mara? Okay, I don't know. Probably one of the Kolors have an aunt who's called Mara. I don't know. But usually when in Italian we say zia Mara, we refer ourselves to Mara Venier, who is one of the most famous TV hosts in Italy. if you are a little bit into Italian culture and probably you are a fan of programs like shows, like anything related to music, okay, you might know, or like Amici, for example, Sanremo, whatever, you might know her because she often interviews artists and so of course also singers. Generally she is the one conducting the interviews the day after the finale of Sanremo Music Festival, and not without a scandal, but like mainly last time we had some gossip about it, but we are going to talk about it in the discussion because it's not concerning the song specifically. And of course, okay, hi, how's it going? Hello, how's it going? Aunt Mara says hi, and she asks me how you are doing. Guys, I can tell you this is a perfectly possible Italian call. I can see that I've done this in my life at least once. And then we start with the problematic love story portion because, oh my God, I gave you everything, I gave you my heart, and it hurts because in the echo on the background we hear I, which is the sound that in Italian we say when we want to say ouch. It is either usually I or aia or una bestemmia, but yeah, usually it is that sound, and they used it because it rhymes with stai. And in fact, leave me at least half of my heart, don't look back, and probably don't look back is ironic because in the song we can see that actually they want to get back together because it's the trope, guys. It's the summer hit Italian trope. It is following the narrative. So, and here we can see that the Kolors are on point with memes very hard, because they say se Raffaella Carracca mi canta Pedro Pedro Pedro. Why? Because they are referencing the popular song like you can find everywhere on any social media, which is Pedro by Raffaella Carrà, because someone had a brilliant idea to associate it to a raccoon that is dancing. So of course Pedro was already famous for us Italian, but now it is for sure famous globally thanks to the cute raccoon that is dancing on the notes of Pedro. And why mentioning here beside the meme, right? Because also in Pedro we have a love story, because we have Raffaella Carrà who goes in South America to be a tourist, but in the end, instead of being a tourist and visiting the country, the city and whatnot, she meets this young boy called Pedro, this young man called Pedro, and they basically smash. We all like it's not that explicit, but you can tell that she was like, she says in the song that she's not visiting the city at all, and instead she's watching the stars with him. So go Raffaella Carrà, rest in peace. Then we have a brief bridge. È colpa mia, it's my fault. È colpa tua, it's your fault. Non è importante, it doesn't matter. Certe cose si fanno in 2, 3, qua. Some things are done in 2, 3, 4. Now, let's explain this last line. Usually when you do the counting, because you have to synchronize with the band, because of course the Kolors are a band, or simply because you are singing with someone else playing the instrument, so you need some coordination. Many singers count, so they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course, while in English 4 is a one syllable word, in Italian it is not, because it has 2 syllables. In fact, it is quattro, quattro. So often when in Italian you hear the singer counting or one of the band members counting to give the counting to the rest of the band, of the members, they count 1, 2, 3, 4, and they truncate the word so they can stay in the bits, because each number is a bit. So this is a little play on word, because he says certe cose si fanno in due, some things are done in two, as in a relationship. Why? Because it doesn't matter whose fault it is, because anyway, doesn't matter what happens. If a relationship doesn't work, it is not like only one person's fault, because of course a relationship needs to be reciprocated. So if 2 people agreed in being in a relationship and then they break up, of course the relationship wasn't meant for the both of them. Okay, so since a relationship is a result of the action of 2 people, of course there is no point in putting the whole of the fault on only one participant in the relationship. Now, I also have like this thought in my head, because context. I have 2 little siblings, a brother and a sister. And my sister is so much into teen drama, which makes sense because she's young, unlike me. So she made me watch a very famous teen drama that was going hard like at least last year. It is titled Culpa Mia. It is a trilogy in Spanish, and the trilogy is Culpa Mia, Culpa Tuya, Culpa Nuestra. And it is a team drama. And every time I see, hear, read Colpa Mia, Colpa Tua, which are the adaptation titles of this trilogy, of course the third one is Colpa Nostra, I think about it now. I don't know if this is like random and I'm seeing things because my sister forced them into my brain through the whole movies and the reels on my Instagram, and basically like she had a moment where she was very much into that trilogy. So I don't know if I am seeing things or if like the Kolors have themselves watching this trilogy, their wives, even their children. I don't know, because some of them have children, but or if it is random and not connected. I don't know. But I wanted to put this on the plate because my sister in Italy is not the only one who was very much into this Spanish drama. It was something quite popular last year, I think also this year, in the whole of Italy. And I think it had quite of a success in the whole of Europe. So, yeah. I just wanted to point this out because my sister forced this knowledge onto me, and now I have to force it onto you as well, so we can share. Then we have the chorus. Blu da budida, per tutta la vita, for the whole life, nostalgia, di quello che mi facevi tu, of what you used to do to me. Da budida, lascia che ti dica, let me tell you, che non va via, that it doesn't go away, what il tuo profumo dai pensieri. Your perfume from thoughts. Now we have, of course, another very famous Easter egg reference, because we are talking about Blue Dabudida by Eiffel 65, who are a duo. Anyway, a band, an Italian band, famous, of course, for Blue Dabudida. And here they play on the words, because in this here I had to rearrange the terms because of translation needs, but the way they sing it is Blue Dabudida. The rest of the first section of the pre-chorus, Tu Dabudida, because blue and tu sound similar, so basically you should take this and put it here to match the start of the two sections of the pre-chorus. And then we have the chorus. Pronto, come va? Hello, how are you doing? La voce tua mi manca. I miss your voice. Lo so che ho sbagliato. I know I made a mistake. Ma chi è che non sbaglia? But who doesn't make a mistake? Tutto bene, ma. All right, but. Ho in testa una domanda. In my head I have a question. Non mi puoi lasciare. You can't leave me. Il cielo in una stanza. The sky in a room. Now, you might ask me, but Silvia, literally, what does it mean pronto? Well, it means ready. Like, if I'm saying sono pronta, it means I'm ready, literally speaking. And why in the rest of the world everyone answer with hello, hi, whatever is the translation in their language? Like, if I have to answer the phone in English, I answer with hello, who's there? If I have to answer in French, I could say hello, bonjour. But like, it's the only language I speak in which I answer with something that is not hi or its translation. It's Italian. And many Italians sometimes ask themselves, like, why are we weird? The answer is we are not sure. We don't know why we do that, but there is a popular theory about it, at least the one that appears to be more reasonable, and in fact it is the theory promoted by the Accademia della Crusca, which is our organization ruling over Italian, so explaining why etymologically we say certain things, why, how, what are the correct forms and formulas of the Italian language, and so on and so on. And so what is the answer by the Accademia della Crusca? The answer of the Accademia della Crusca is because back in the days when phones were old and we had a centralino, which is the telephone exchange, we had the operators connecting the callers to the receiver of the callers. So, how did it work? I am an Italian, I have to call, I don't know, my mother. So, I take my phone, I called the centralino, the telephone exchange. Centralino literally means little central thing. So, I called the centralino, and the centralino tells me, okay, who is your receiver of the call? With whom you want to be connected? And I'm saying, okay, I want to be connected to. And I specify the receiver of the call. So the centralino is going to switch the cables and connect connect my call to the portion of the network that is going to reach the receiver that I am targeting. Now, how do you communicate that the connection is ready and so everything got switched, the cables are ready, and you can finally talk to the receiver of the call? Well, you tell them. So, in other words, the reason why we say pronto is because pronto, so ready, was what the operator of the telephone exchange were saying when the connection between the caller and the receiver of the call was ready. And so you were able to talk with your receiver, with your target. And then, of course, classic relationship, struggling relationship trope. I miss your voice, I made a mistake, but everyone makes mistakes, everyone is alright, but I'm still thinking about you. And then we have non mi puoi lasciare il cielo in una stanza. You can't leave me, the sky in a room. Now, this reference is not that immediate if you are not an Italian speaker, because this is a reference to another famous song. However, this song, at least in English, has a different title, which is not the literal translation of the original song. And in fact, I am talking about a song written by Gino Paoli and originally recorded by the Italian singer Mina, for the album with the same name, and I am talking about Il cielo in una stanza. However, this song, the title of this song, was translated in English as Heaven in a Room. And the song is basically, long story short, the song is very short, by the way, and the idea of the song is a description of how a person in love feels when they are sharing the room, when they are in company of their lover, their beloved one. So the idea is that when you are in love with someone and you are with them, is like you don't even have a roof, a ceiling in the room, because it's like to fly. It's like having the sky in the room. And so probably here the idea conveyed through this Easter egg, this reference, is that my question is, how is it possible that you left me but I still feel like the feeling described in the song Il cielo in una stanza? So how is it possible that even if I feel good, even if you left me, I still feel like you make me fly? Okay. And then we have the post-chorus, blu da budida, per tutta la vita, for the whole life, nostalgia di quello che mi facevi tu, of what you used to do to me. So, the idea, of course, is that relationship has ended, nostalgia joined the lobby, and I am nostalgic about what you did to me, how you made me feel. But it is made with a smart onomatopoeia, because when you call, because everything is about phone calls in this song. So when you call someone and you are waiting for that someone to answer the phone, or when the other end of the call is busy, so they are already in a call, or they have their phone turned off, or for some reason because they have no signal or whatever. Basically, when you are waiting for the call, or when the person you are calling cannot receive for any reason the call, you hear a sound. Now, this sound, it is expressed in Italian as the onomatopia tu, which is also the personal pronoun, second person singular, you in Italian. So is the singular you. And so here there is a funny play on words where di quello che mi facevi tu, of what you used to do to me, but where the line ends with tu, which is also the sound of when you are waiting on the phone or the caller cannot answer. And then we have the second verse. Sarà perché ti amo. It must be because I love you. Che confusione. What a mess. What a confusion. Un sabato italiano, an Italian Saturday, fuori dal balcone con le signore. Outside the balcony with the ladies. Parlare di noi come in un vecchio film, talking about us like in an old movie, come i Pink Floyd vorrei tu fossi qui. Like Pink Floyd, I wish you were here. Cuore graffiato come su un CD, heart scratched like on a CD, tipo quando salta. Like when it jumps. Now, here full of linguistic easter eggs. First of all, che confusione, sarà perché ti amo. Reference to Sarà perché ti amo, song by Ricchi e Poveri. Let me know in the comments if you want me to analyze it, because it is one of the most famous Italian songs, and God bless the Ricchi e Poveri, I love them. They are basically called the Italian ABBA. And then Un Sabato Italiano. Now, Un Sabato Italiano could be classic Italian Saturday talking on the balcony with the ladies. Here, very funny, because I have to say I did it in my life, so guilty. I feel called out, but it's something even more common in Campania, and specifically Naples, and in fact the Kolors are from Naples, because there is even a specific term indicating the women, the Napolitan women of a certain age, who talk to each other from the balconies, okay, because they gossip. So imagine ladies from Naples gossiping, screaming from one balcony to the other. Poetic cinema. And like they are so central in the Napolitan culture that they even have a specific term describing them, which is Vrenzola, plural Vrenzole. Thanks to all my Napolitan friends for making me knowledgeable so I can share this knowledge with the world. So it could be just this reference. So this is how a classic Italian Saturday would be. However, Un Sabato Italiano, or at least Sabato Italiano, is also a title of several things. First of all, the first studio album by the Italian singer and songwriter Sergio Caputo, released in 1983. Also, a 1992 Italian drama film directed by Luciano Manuzzi. And also an Italian entertainment television program broadcasted on Saturday evenings in the spring of 2005. And last but not least, another Italian television show, spin-off of Storie Italiane, which is another show that we still have, I guess, aired on Rai Uno from September 2017 to June 2018. So, it could be also a reference to these things. I don't know. And then, talking about us like in an old movie, come i Pink Floyd, vorrei tu fossi qui. Like Pink Floyd, I wish you were here. Why? because vorrei tu fossi qui is the Italian localization, the Italian translation of a very famous song by Pink Floyd, which in English is Wish You Were Here. And then, since we are talking about not only telephones but also music, in Italian, when you scratch a CD, you say graffiato, which is also a typical sound related to vinyl. And when you have a CD or like a disc generally, which is scratched, graffiato, you know that when the reader reaches the point where the disc is damaged, it jumps, which is the sound effect where the song stops because the reader cannot read further, and so the song stops there where the damage is and just keeps repeating generally the last word or the last syllables because the reader cannot proceed with the reading. And so when this happens, in Italian we say salta. I asked Alex and he told me, yes, you say it also in English, the literal translation, which is jump. So if you just translate it as it is, people are going to understand. So I leave it there. I don't know if there are specific terms to describe this phenomenon in English. In case, let me know in the comments, because I've been told that jumps works just fine like in Italian. And then we have, once again, the bridge, which is exactly like the first bridge preceding the first pre-chorus. And in fact, this bridge is leading us from the second verse to the second pre-chorus. È colpa mia, è colpa tua, non è importante, certe cose si fanno in 2, 3, qua. It's my fault, it's your fault, it doesn't matter. Some things are done in 2, 3, 4. And then once again we have the pre-chorus, just like before. Blu da bodida per tutta la vita, nostalgia di quello che mi facevi tu da bodida, lascia che ti dica che non va via il tuo profumo dai pensieri. For the whole life, nostalgia of what you used to do to me da bodida. Let me tell you that it doesn't go away, your perfume from my thoughts. And then once again the chorus, same as before. Pronto come va? La voce tua mi manca, lo so che ho sbagliato, ma chi è che non sbaglia? Hello, how are you doing? I miss your voice. I know I made a mistake, but who doesn't make a mistake? Tutto bene ma ho in testa una domanda, non mi puoi lasciare il cielo in una stanza. Alright, but in my head I have a question, you can't leave me the sky in a room. And then we have another bridge, this time different. Corro da te sopra una panda. I run to you, towards you, on a panda. Ho una compilation d'amore per te. I have a love compilation for you. Non mi basterà una canzone a trovare le parole. A song won't be enough to find the words. Per te lo sai che farei. For you, you know what I would do. Now, corro da te sopra una panda. I run to you on a panda. It is a way to say that I'm driving very fast. In fact, when we say in Italian corro da te, it generally means, like literally, I run to you. It literally means that we are going at someone's place or like in the place where our target is very fast, but not necessarily on our legs. It can be also through means of transport, others than your legs. And in fact, in this case, we are talking about a vehicle, a car, and specifically the Fiat Panda, which is a very old, common type of car that we have in Italy. Right now, I don't know if it is even legal to drive them anymore, at least the original ones, not the new ones. Also because the theme, the narrative of the Kolors is very vintage. They really like the 80s or even earlier periods of time. And in fact, we notice it when they mentioned before the CD, which are not something anymore. I don't even know if my children will know what a CD is. You are all welcome for making you all feel old. And same thing for the Love compilation. The Love compilation was a compilation of love songs that you usually put on a cassetta, the thing before the CDs, and then on the CDs, and you were giving it the tape. I guess it's the tape, but the music tape. And you were giving it to the person you wanted to dedicate it to. But it's something that was going, like, it was trendy back in my days. So today's we have Spotify, I guess. And then we have, once again, the chorus and the post-chorus, which are used as an outro for the song. Pronto, come va? La voce tua mi manca, lo so che ho sbagliato, ma chi è che non sbaglia? Hello, how are you doing? I miss your voice, I know I made a mistake, but who doesn't make mistakes? Tutto bene ma ho in testa una domanda, non mi puoi lasciare il cielo in una stanza. Alright, but in my head I have a question, you can leave me the sky in a room. Blu da bodida per tutta la vita, nostalgia di quello che mi facevi tu. Blue da bodida for the whole life, nostalgia of what you used to do to me. And it's quite funny because this onomatopoeia that is also the sound we hear on the phone when we end the call, at least back in my days. Now it's not that common because with nowadays phones you just close the call and nothing, and you hear nothing. But back in my days when we had the flip phones, when someone was hanging the call, you were also hearing tu. Nowadays is not something really happening anymore. Drink. Stay hydrated, very important. So, I don't know where I put my sunglasses. There we go. Perfect. And that was Pronto, come va by the Kolors. Ok, so, che dire, very much into the summer vibes, also because, as I like to say in Italian, oggi sto pezzando, which is, it is very hot and I'm sweating a lot. I am actually joking, I only have 25 degrees here. Un saluto a tutti i miei connazionali che in questo momento si stanno sciogliendo perché in diverse parti d'Italia ci sono più di 30 gradi, mi dispiace per voi. Here I am here chilling with 25 degrees. Anyway, so, well, there is not much tea to say about the Kolors because they just made their yearly summer songs, summer hit, because they are masters, like Italo Disco, which is one of their most famous summer hits, is still like top charting every summer. It's incredible, 10 out of 10. Let me know in the comments if you want me to analyze Italo Disco. And besides that, I have a little trivia because this song has also the visual video, so the official video clip. And the official video clip is a reference to the video clip of another song, which is Sugar by Maroon 5. Because we see the Kolors having fun by going around in Naples, because as I was saying, they are from Naples, and going randomly in wedding parties and playing this song. So I don't know if it was staged like with the Maroon 5, because of course the Maroon 5 did it on purpose to record the video clip and whatnot. They might be crazy enough to do it without organizing themselves first and then just scrapping the recordings from all over the place. I would believe that, not gonna lie. But even if it was staged, it is like funny reference as well. Like, this song is very much full of Easter eggs, generally speaking, as I showed you. But now I mentioned Zia Mara from the first line of the song. And why am I saying that we had some tea concerning Zia Mara? Okay. As I explained before, Mara Venier is one of the most popular TV hosts in Italy. And she is so famous that she is the one conducting the interviews happening the day after the finale of Sanremo Music Festival. However, we had some issues this year and also last year, so both in 2025 and 2024. Why? In 2024, because we had the whole scandal concerning Gali and Argendamico, because Argendamico said on the stage of Sanremo 2024 several times that, like, calling out what was happening in Gaza. And Gali went all out the last night and he just screamed, "Stop al genocidio," with the whole ride that was like imploding. And of course, the day after, Gali managed, like, during these interviews, because generally during this show, which is called Domenica In, where Mara Venier is the host, we have a group of journalists asking questions to the singers, the artists who participated in Sanremo Music Festival of that year after the festival finished. So, of course, usually the most looked after are the interviews to the people on the podium. So last year, 2024, was Angelina Mango with La Noia. This year was only with Balorda Nostalgia. But of course, journalists started to ask several questions in 2024 to both D'Argendamico and Gali, asking them to explain their position concerning what was happening, like the genocide happening in Palestine. And let's say that they got a little bit censored, that I wasn't very happy about it. And Mara Venier pretty much scolded D'Argendamico because Gali went full in, had a rant, and nothing could stop him. While D'Argendamico got scolded because he dared to talk about what was happening in Palestine, sorry. And so, like, many people weren't happy about it. Also because usually we have a platform where you can replay the all the shows, episodes, generally things on Rai. It is called Rai Play. And they cut, like at certain point they removed the portion where you had Gali and Argendamico speaking about the genocide in Palestine. And that was one. So already in 2024, bene ma non benissimo. And then in 2025 happened something that made several people mad, because she interviewed Olli. Now, for those of you who don't know Olli, like his appearance, Olli is famous also because he's good looking. He is quite fit. In fact, he was a rugbyist, I guess. I have to check with my sister, but because my source of information concerning Olli, of course, is my sister. And she explained me that there are many fans of him who are also very glad of how good looking Olli is. But the issue is that he cares a lot about the fact that he's a singer first, not a model. And so he presented himself the day after the finale of Sanremo 2025 with a little sweater or something, al golfino. So basically he was covered, okay? And we saw a scene that many of us didn't like, because Mara Venier started to grab Olli to force him to remove the jacket, like the cover he was wearing on his shoulder, to force him to be in to stay only in the tank top that he had below this cover. And he was clearly uncomfortable with that. And he was like, please don't touch me, like stop pulling me. I don't want to take it off. Yeah, horny jail indeed. And many people, mainly from the Gen Z, bless them, and I swear to God, the future is in their hands because we are not doing good in Italy. Serious issues with consent. And many people pointed out that was a sexual harassment. And word of a jurist, yes, it was. You can't force people to take off their clothes, and you cannot keep forcing yourself on someone who's clearly telling you no. No is no, no matter the gender, no matter, no is no, period. And like, non ho parole, solo bestemmie. Like, the issue is that many pointed out that the behavior of Mara Venier wasn't appropriated to that situation. Like, that shouldn't happen. And so many started to say, imagine if it happened reverse gender. So imagine an old guy trying to take off the clothes from from Clara, because, for example, Clara and Olli have more or less the same age, or Angelina Mango. Imagine, because Olli is 19, something like that. He's very young. Like, imagine if when Angelina Mango won, an old man tried to take off her clothes, asking her to expose more her body. Do I really have to say that's inappropriate? The issue that, okay, you might think, okay, she apologized, she got consequences. No. Like, she went back on her show and she basically told everyone who criticized that behavior that they were overreacting. No, Mara. That was no overreaction. That was just very inappropriate and sexual harassment. Simple as you don't try. First of all, you don't force yourself onto people who are not giving their consent. You do not try to take off clothes from people without their consent, and you do not touch people without their consent. No is no. Doesn't matter if Ollie is a beautiful, handsome young boy and you are a horny old lady. No is no, period. So, yeah. Sadly, no consequence, like there were no consequence for that. I swear to God. And like it was just like disgusting. Like at certain point, I hope that Mara Venier is going to retire at certain point, and I just hope people are going to stop to touch other people without their consent. But sadly, I am not very hopeful. And yeah. So that was the tea that I have to offer for today. As usual, let me know in the comments what you think about this song. What other songs you'd like me to analyze, because we have a list to fill. That said, grazie everyone for watching and arrivederci.